The clock struck midnight as Alex Martinez stared at the strange document in front of her. The letterhead seemed official, with holographic edges that shifted between blue and silver. She read the words again: Interspecies Cohabitation Pilot Program, Provisional Housing Assignment. Alex rubbed her temples. This was not how she had planned to spend her final year of graduate research. Just 3 months ago, she was a normal xenobiology student with dreams of studying alien life from a safe distance. Now she was about to become a live-in roommate to an actual alien. The apartment complex looked ordinary from the outside, a typical high-rise in downtown Chicago. Nothing suggested it was ground zero for humanity's first serious attempt at cross-species living arrangements. The program was part of Earth's newest diplomatic initiative, a bold step following first contact 5 years earlier. A soft knock interrupted her thoughts. Alex's hand trembled slightly as she opened the door. Zarak stood in the hallway, and "stood" was a generous description. The alien seemed to flow rather than stand, its crystalline body shifting and refracting light in mesmerizing patterns. Deep blue and silver fragments made up its form, looking like a living sculpture of glass and energy. "Greetings, Alexander Martinez." The alien spoke. Its voice sounded like wind passing through crystal chimes, neither male nor female, neither harsh nor soft. "Just Alex is fine," she replied, stepping back to let the alien enter. The apartment's sensors automatically adjusted, temperature dropping slightly, humidity changing, lighting shifting to a spectrum more comfortable for Zarak. The alien moved with an otherworldly grace. Its body didn't walk so much as ripple across the floor, leaving a faint trail of soft blue luminescence. Each movement seemed calculated, precise, almost mathematical. "Your living space is interesting," Zarak said, examining the small apartment. Textbooks on xenobiology were stacked neatly on the coffee table. Photographs of massive radio telescopes decorated the walls. A half-drunk cup of coffee sat next to a laptop covered in university stickers. Alex watched nervously. The briefing documents had prepared her for this moment, but nothing could truly ready someone for sharing living space with an alien. Zarak was a refugee, granted political asylum on Earth after fleeing some conflict in a distant star system. The details were classified, but the implications were clear. This was more than just a housing experiment. "Do you require sustenance?" Zarak asked, turning those impossible crystalline eyes towards her. Alex chuckled nervously. "I can order pizza. Do you eat?" "Consumption is different for my species," the alien responded. "We absorb energy through quantum resonance. Your electromagnetic environment provides sufficient nutrition." The statement was both fascinating and slightly terrifying. Alex realized she knew so little about her new roommate. The university had chosen her specifically for this program. Her background in xenobiology, her psychological profile, her ability to remain calm under unusual circumstances. As night approached, an uncomfortable silence filled the apartment. Zarak seemed to shimmer slightly, its crystalline body catching and refracting the soft apartment lights. Alex couldn't help but stare, wondering about the stories hidden behind those mysterious, shifting fragments. Little did she know, this was just the beginning of an adventure that would change everything she understood about life, communication, and survival. The first night would prove to be anything but ordinary. The night was quiet, almost too quiet. Alex tossed and turned in her bed, the soft hum of the apartment's climate control doing little to soothe her restless mind. Something felt different. The air seemed charged with an unusual energy, like the moments before a storm. Suddenly, she was awake. Completely awake. Her bedroom looked strange. The moonlight streaming through the window seemed to bend and twist, creating impossible shadows. And then she saw it. Zarak was on her bed. But "on" wasn't quite the right word. The alien appeared to be merging with her bed, its crystalline body flowing into the fabric and mattress, like water seeping into sand. Soft blue light pulsed beneath the sheets, creating an eerie, almost beautiful glow. Alex froze. Her scientific mind raced. Was this a defensive mechanism? An accident? A form of communication she couldn't understand? Zorak, she whispered, her voice barely audible. The crystalline being didn't respond immediately. The pulsing light continued, rhythmic and mesmerizing. Slowly, parts of Zorak began to separate from the bed, reforming into a more defined shape. Apologies, the alien finally spoke, its voice like distant wind chimes. Autonomic response triggered. Safety protocol activated. Alex sat up, her heart racing. What does that mean? Zorak's body shifted, fragments of crystal-like material realigning. When experiencing extreme stress or perceived threat, my species can temporarily merge with surrounding matter. It is a defensive adaptation. Before Alex could respond, a sudden electrical surge shot through the room. Lights flickered. The laptop on her desk sparked. The refrigerator in the kitchen made a loud popping sound. "Oh no," Alex muttered. The entire apartment's electrical system had just short-circuited. Darkness consumed the room, broken only by Zorak's soft blue bioluminescence. "An unexpected energy discharge," Zorak said, sounding almost embarrassed. "My defensive response appears to have been excessive." Alex couldn't help but laugh. Here she was, in the middle of the night, sitting next to an alien who had just accidentally fried her apartment's electronics. This was definitely not covered in any of her xenobiology textbooks. "Are you okay?" she asked, more out of reflex than genuine concern for the alien's well-being. Zorak's body shimmered. "I am functional." The energy discharge was minimal. "However, your technological infrastructure seems compromised." The apartment was silent except for the occasional spark from an electrical outlet. Alex reached for her phone, only to find it dead. No power, no communication. "What triggered your defensive response?" Alex asked, her scientific curiosity overriding her initial shock. For a moment, Zorak was perfectly still. Then, almost imperceptibly, the alien's crystalline form seemed to darken. "Memory," it said finally. "Memories of pursuit, of threat." Alex realized then that there was more to her alien roommate than just a diplomatic exchange program. Zorak was running from something serious enough to trigger an automatic defensive response in the middle of the night. As dawn's first light began to creep through the window, Alex knew one thing for certain: her life would never be the same again. An alien refugee, a mysteriously destroyed apartment, and a story that was just beginning to unfold. The first rays of sunlight caught Zorak's body, creating a prism of blue and silver light. Something was coming, and they would face it together. The morning after the electrical incident was anything but normal. Alex sat in her tiny kitchen, surrounded by extension cords and borrowed repair tools. Zorak watched her work, its crystalline body reflecting the harsh fluorescent light from a portable lamp. "I can assist," the alien offered, reaching toward a tangled bundle of wires. Alex pulled back instinctively. "No offense, but your last assistance kind of destroyed all our electronics." A sound emerged from Zorak, something between a chime and a soft buzz that Alex realized was the alien equivalent of a chuckle. Fair assessment. As she worked, Alex's mind raced with questions. The university's briefing had been frustratingly vague about Zorak's background. Refugee, political asylum, classified details. Each phrase felt like it was hiding something massive. "So," Alex said, trying to sound casual, "want to tell me what you're running from?" Zorak went completely still. The light around its crystalline body seemed to dim slightly. For a moment, Alex thought the alien might refuse to answer. "The hegemony," Zorak finally spoke, each word carefully chosen. "A collective that views sentient beings as resources to be managed, traded or eliminated." Alex's hands stopped working. The wire cutters hung suspended in midair. "That sounds serious." "Serious is an understatement," the alien responded. Its body began to project a holographic display. star systems, complex geometric patterns, and what looked like encrypted data streams. I carry information that could destabilize their entire communication network. The hologram showed a complex web of interconnected nodes. Some pulse with a threatening red light, others with a defensive blue. It was like looking at a living, breathing map of galactic politics. Why you? Alex asked. Why do you have this information? Xerox's crystalline fragments shifted, creating what almost looked like a shrug. In my previous role, I was a communication specialist. My species has unique quantum resonance abilities that allow us to perceive data streams differently from other species. The hologram zoomed in on a particular section. A vulnerability, a potential weakness in the hegemony's faster-than-light communication system. They will hunt me, Xerox said matter-of-factly, until this information is either destroyed or transmitted to resistance movements. Alex's scientific mind was racing. This wasn't just about an alien refugee anymore. This was about a potential galactic conflict. About freedom. About resistance against an oppressive system. We need a plan, she said, surprising herself with the we. Xerox's body pulsed with a soft blue light. You would help me. Well, Alex replied, a small smile forming. It's not like I can go back to a normal life after an alien fried my apartment's electronics, right? The alien's response was another of those musical chimes that might have been laughter. The holographic display continued to pulse and move, showing complex data streams that seemed to dance with possibility. Outside the apartment, the world continued its normal routine. People walked on sidewalks. Cars moved down streets. Nobody knew that inside this small Chicago apartment, two beings from completely different worlds were about to plan something that could change everything. The first rays of real hope began to shine, as bright and unexpected as Xerox's bioluminescent glow. The first warning came 3 days after their planning session. A black sedan pulled up across the street, its windows tinted so dark they looked like solid walls of midnight. Alex noticed it first. Something about the car felt wrong. Too clean, too perfect. The way it sat absolutely still, engine silent, sent a chill down her spine. Xerox, she whispered, we might have company. The alien was already changing. Its crystalline body shifted, becoming less defined, blending with the shadows of the apartment. The holographic display from earlier flickered to life, showing heat signatures and electromagnetic disturbances around their building. 2 figures emerged from the car. They looked human, almost too human. Their movements were too precise, too synchronized. Expensive suits, mirror-shine shoes, sunglasses despite the overcast Chicago morning. Hegemony agents, Xerox said, its voice a soft musical warning. Diplomatic mask. Capture protocol. Alex's mind raced. She had studied alien encounters, but nothing prepared her for this moment. Her university training kicked in. Observe, analyze, survive. We need a plan, she muttered. The apartment's smart systems were still damaged from Xerox's earlier energy discharge. No electronic escape route. No quick communication with authorities. The front door of the building opened. Footsteps. Precise. Calculating. My quantum signature, Xerox explained quickly, can be tracked through standard detection methods. We must disrupt their scanning capabilities. Alex grabbed her laptop, the only piece of electronics she had managed to repair. A crazy idea formed in her mind. I have a plan, she said, her voice surprisingly steady. The hallway outside grew silent. Too silent. She began typing furiously. Years of xenobiology research, computer science electives, and pure human creativity combined in a desperate strategy. A signal jammer, but not a normal one. Something that would use the building's own electrical infrastructure against the hunters. Xerox watched, its crystalline body now completely transparent, blending with the apartment's shadows. A knock on the door. Polite. Professional. Deadly. Ms. Martinez, a voice asked. Smooth. Controlled. We're here on diplomatic business. Alex's fingers flew across the keyboard, lines of code that would create electromagnetic chaos, a digital smokescreen. The door handle began to move. Zarok's body pulsed with a soft, defensive blue light, ready to merge, to defend, to escape. Suddenly, every electrical device in the apartment complex came to life. Microwaves hummed, refrigerators buzzed, televisions flickered with static, cell phones erupted in a symphony of random signals. The door handle stopped moving. Outside, the black sit-ins electronics died. Screens went dark. Tracking systems collapsed. "Now," Alex whispered, "we move." Zarok's crystalline form wrapped around her, providing both protection and a means of rapid movement. They would escape. They would survive. The hunt had begun. In that moment, human creativity and alien technology became one, a weapon more powerful than any standard defense protocol. The first rays of rebellion cut through the apartment's darkness. The warehouse district was quiet, too quiet. Abandoned buildings stood like silent sentinels, watching the cat and mouse game about to unfold. Alex checked her equipment one last time. A modified communication device, quantum interference generators, backup power sources. Her entire life now fit into a small backpack that seemed to pulse with potential energy. Zarok was different now. Its crystalline body had changed, becoming more angular, more defensive. Sharp edges caught the moonlight, creating impossible geometric patterns that seemed to shift between solid and liquid states. "They're coming," the alien said suddenly. No sooner had the words left its chime-like voice than the first wave of hegemony agents appeared. They moved like a coordinated machine, precise, emotionless, deadly. But they didn't know Alex. The first trap was simple but effective. As the agents approached, the entire warehouse district's electrical grid came alive. Streetlights flickered. Abandoned security systems triggered randomly. Old machinery hummed to life, creating a symphony of mechanical chaos. "Electromagnetic disruption," Alex whispered, her fingers dancing across a modified tablet. "They can't track us if nothing works predictably." Zarok's body pulsed in agreement. Unpredictability, our greatest weapon. The hegemony agents stopped. Their advanced scanning equipment went dark. Communication systems collapsed. For the first time, they looked almost human, confused, uncertain. Alex had studied their movement patterns, learned their tracking technologies, used every piece of xenobiology and communication theory she had ever studied. The warehouse around them became a battlefield of human creativity versus alien technology. Water pipes burst unexpectedly. Old electrical circuits created random interference patterns. The very environment became a weapon, transformed by Alex's quick thinking and technological improvisation. One agent stepped forward. Something about its movement was wrong. Too smooth, too calculated. Zarok moved first. Its crystalline body expanded, creating a protective shield around Alex. The alien's quantum resonance abilities created a field of pure energy that disrupted the agent's advanced tracking systems. "Now," Zarok shouted. Alex activated the final stage of her plan. A burst of quantum encrypted information, hidden within the most random of communication patterns. Using the warehouse's broken infrastructure, city electrical grid, and her own modified equipment, she began transmitting the critical data. The hegemony agents realized what was happening a moment too late. Their perfect formation broke. Advanced technology failed against pure human unpredictability. Alex wasn't fighting their technology. She was rewriting the rules of engagement. Zarok's body glowed with an intense blue light. Protection, resistance, hope. Transmission at 67% and climbing. Alex muttered, her eyes never leaving the modified tablet. The warehouse district became a battlefield of impossible possibilities. Human ingenuity versus alien technology. A graduate student and a refugee alien, fighting for something bigger than themselves. As the final data streams escaped, Alex allowed herself a small smile. They had done the impossible. The first rays of victory cut through the warehouse's broken windows. Resistance had a new meaning, a new hope, and it looked nothing like what the hegemony had expected. The aftermath of the warehouse transmission was unlike anything anyone expected. Resistance groups across multiple star systems began receiving fragments of information, encrypted messages, quantum-encoded signals. Each piece was like a puzzle, seemingly random but slowly forming a complete picture of the hegemony's vulnerabilities. Alex and Zerak watched from a small borrowed apartment. Their faces were a mixture of exhaustion and hope. The transmission wasn't just a message, it was a revolution waiting to spark. How many received the full data? Alex asked, her fingers tracing lines on a complex holographic map. Zerak's crystalline body pulsed with soft blue light. Not all, but enough. The quantum resonance patterns ensure that only those with specific resistance signatures can decode the full message. Outside, the world looked normal. Chicago continued its daily rhythm. People walked streets. Cars moved. Nobody knew that a galactic resistance was being born in this small apartment. The first confirmations came quietly. A message here, a signal there. Resistance groups on distant planets began to align. The information Zerak carried was more than just data. It was a blueprint for freedom. They will respond, Zerak said softly. Its body shifted, creating complex geometric patterns that reflected the complexity of their plan. Alex understood. The hegemony wouldn't sit quietly. They would hunt. They would try to stop the spread of information. But they had underestimated human creativity. Each resistance group decoded the message differently. Some used advanced quantum computers. Others used complex biological encryption methods. Some even used old-fashioned mathematical decryption techniques that the hegemony had long forgotten about. The beauty was in the unpredictability. Zerak explained how the transmission worked. My species can perceive data streams differently. We see patterns where others see noise. The message is designed to look like random interference to standard tracking systems. Alex had used her entire scientific background to create something impossible. A communication method that was part technology, part biology, part pure human creativity. The first global response came unexpectedly. A small mining colony on the edge of known space sent a confirmation signal. Then another resistance group from a water planet. Then a network of scientific outposts. It's spreading, Alex whispered. Zerak's body pulsed with excitement, faster than the hegemony can track, faster than they can understand. The transmission was more than just information. It was hope, a signal that resistance was possible, that different species could work together, that no system of control was absolute. As night fell, the apartment became a command center. Maps shifted. Signals danced. The impossible was becoming possible. We've changed everything, Alex said, looking at her alien roommate. Zerak's response was a soft, musical chime that might have been laughter. We've only just begun. Outside, the first stars began to appear. Each one represented a possibility, a chance, a future where freedom wasn't just a word, but a living, breathing reality. The resistance had a heartbeat, and it was growing stronger with each passing moment. Humanity had found its voice, and it was singing a song of hope that no hegemony could silence. 6 months after the transmission, everything had changed. Alex stood on the observation deck of an interstellar research station. Her fingers traced the holographic displays showing resistance movement progress across multiple star systems. What had started in a small Chicago apartment had become a galactic revolution. Zerak appeared beside her, its crystalline body catching the starlight in a mesmerizing display of blues and silvers. Progress reports continue to be positive, the alien said, its voice a soft musical chime. They were no longer just roommates. They were partners, strategists, the unexpected architects of a resistance that was reshaping galactic politics. The hegemony hadn't been destroyed, but they had been fundamentally changed. Their communication networks, once thought to be impenetrable, now contained critical vulnerabilities. Resistance groups used the information Zorak had carried to create safe communication channels, to protect vulnerable populations, to fight back. Did we actually do this? Alex asked, her voice a mixture of wonder and disbelief. Zorak's body pulsed with a soft light that might have been laughter. Unpredictability, our greatest weapon. Their transmission had done more than just provide information. It had shown different species that cooperation was possible. That resistance could take many forms. That hope was a powerful force stronger than any technological control system. Scientific outposts began sharing research. Mining colonies gained new protections. Entire populations that had been silenced found their voices. The research station hummed with activity. Humans worked alongside species from dozens of different star systems, each bringing their unique perspectives, their unique abilities, their hope. Alex thought back to that first night, an alien on her bed, an unexpected roommate, a transmission that would change everything. "We're not done," Zorak said, reading her thoughts in that way only long-term companions can. "We're just beginning," Alex completed the thought. The station's commander approached. A human. An alien hybrid. Something entirely new. "The latest reports from the outer colonies are promising," she said. "Your transmission method is being studied as a new form of interstellar communication." Alex remembered her days as a graduate student. She had wanted to study alien life. Now she was helping create a new understanding of life itself. Zorak's body shifted, creating complex geometric patterns that seemed to dance with possibility. "Resistance is more than fighting," the alien explained. "It's about creating new possibilities." The observation deck was a perfect metaphor. Humans, aliens, technology, biology, all working together in ways no one had predicted. "We changed the rules," Alex said softly. The universe seemed to listen. Stars twinkled. Distant planets continued their ancient dance. But something was different. Something had shifted. Hope had become a living, breathing thing. As night fell across the research station, Alex and Zorak continued their work. Two beings from different worlds, united by a single powerful idea. That change is always possible. That no system is absolute. That resistance can take the most unexpected forms. And sometimes, it begins with something as simple as an alien roommate on a bed in the middle of the night. The first rays of a new future cut through the station's windows. Bright, unexpected, unstoppable.